Hello there and welcome to this week's edition of Crazy Critique. The newly released cinematic film that I saw this week was the newest film from director Ridley Scott, which is of course the sci-fi The Martian, which stars Mr. Matt Damon. Now, for those who aren't familiar already with the storyline, what it revolves around is there is a mission currently going on Mars in the near future, and there's a team of astronauts led by Jessica Chastain, and amongst her crewmates are, like I say, Matt Damon, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, and Asko Henny. What is about to occur at the beginning of this film is there is a dust storm on Mars, which could provide fatal to their mission and therefore themselves. So the decision is made by Jessica Chastain to launch their craft and escape the danger. What occurs during their escape or attempted escape is that Matt Damon gets hit by a piece of debris from some debris, and it is presumed that he is dead because of the force of the impact and what hit him. So Jessica Chastain has the decision to launch without knowing the exact fate of Matt Damon. And there we have our film from there on. Because as soon as the launch has been made and they have escaped the atmosphere of Mars, you then realise that Matt Damon has survived this and is going to have to be fending for himself on the surface of Mars with limited resources. And this sort of film, yeah, we all know it's been done before, this sort of survival film, one man against the elements and things like that, but obviously this is a completely different sort of situation, given it is on a different planet. But the themes are still the same, and just that he knows that environment, so therefore it's just like any other sort of survival film, if you will. That's not a bad thing, by the way, because what Ridley Scott manages to inject into this sort of film, considering the absolutely brilliant ensemble cast he's brought together, big names, big people in big roles, and everybody has an important moment in the film, and the dialogue is wonderful. The engagement with all the characters is truly great. Is the humour that is injected into the film, because this sort of film, of course, it has tragic moments, but what makes it work more than anything is the work by Matt Damon and the humour that he brings to the role. Because we've seen this before, and I'm going to say this because when you're thinking about this film, think more Castaway than Interstellar. Because, of course, everyone's going to sort of reference Interstellar because of recent space films and Gravity and things like that. But Castaway is pretty much the perfect analogy film. Because the reason why Castaway works so well is because of Tom Hanks's work. And once again, that is exactly the same here in this film with Matt Damon in The Martian. The reason why it works so well is because you want to see him on screen, you want to see him interacting, because he's interacting with technically nobody. He's talking to a screen quite a lot of the time. He's like he's speaking to you, if you will. So you engage immensely in his character because of that connection, if you will. So yes, wonderful work by Matt Damon. And like I've already said, there's many prominent castmates. I've already explained the crew, the actors in the crew involved. Other actors involved include Jeff Bridges, who is the director of NASA, and you've got Sean Bean, who is like the astronauts manager, if you will. I'm not sure the exact term of his job. And you also have Kristen Wiig, who is also a high executive at NASA, and Chiwetel Ejiofor as the director of the Mars mission. And these are some phenomenal actors in what some may describe as supporting roles, but those supporting roles are completely meted out, if you will, and padded out, because you can exactly see what sort of characters these are very, very quickly. They all have different means of motive. Some are going from a purely methodical sort of thing, some more on a personal, but some fabulous, fabulous work has been done on these supporting characters, because obviously the attention is going to be on Matt Damon a lot of the time. So you've got to try to make your peripheral characters, if you want to call them that, just as significant and engaging, which has been done here. So yes, there's your cast. I've mentioned Ridley Scott in the director's chair already. We've experienced, I think it's very fair to say, a rather mixed time of recent years regarding the films Ridley Scott has brought to us. His last two were Exodus of Gods and Kings and The Counselor, which I've not seen myself, but were quite critically lambasted. Would it be fair to say? And the two before that were, you had Robin Hood, which I did see and was quite instantly forgettable. And the other film, of course, was another science fiction film, which was, as everybody probably saw, was Prometheus, which I am a massive fan of the Alien films and franchise, and I expected something from Prometheus, and I'm not quite sure what I got from it. I still don't know. Is it 4 years down the line now? Or is it 3 years? I'm not sure. I'm its biggest critic and biggest defender. So, yeah, a completely mixed film reaction to that, wasn't there? And The Martian, in my opinion, is his best film in 8 years, because I think his last best great film was American Gangster. That was a great sprawling period gangster epic. And yeah, fabulous work there. And I think this is fabulous work once again from a man who, at the top of his game, science fiction is his best genre, because, yes, Alien and Blade Runner. Need I say more? So, Ridley Scott back at his absolute best. Great performances by all members of the cast. What great to listen to is, and instantly from the opening scene, there's such an alien link, because, and I'm not going to say in terms of the style of film is completely different to Alien, but what is familiar was the opening credits, if you will, and the way the title of the film appeared on screen, visually, if you know what I mean, because you're hovering over a planet, and the music. The music was so understated but perfect, if you will. And that just reminded me completely of Alien, and he's got it right again in the genre of science fiction, Ridley Scott. So what more can be said? Yeah, like I said, well, this is exactly what we've been missing from Ridley Scott. This sort of brilliantly moving, humorous, dramatic yet spectacular, and brilliant film, in my opinion. I think it's a truly wonderful film, and I would be very, very disappointed if it is not represented in some sort of way, but in the award season, in the big categories, because we all know it's going to be getting things like editing and sound editing and visual effects and things like that. We all know science fiction is always prominent in those fields. But what I want to see is a truly great film like The Martian appearing in the major categories at awards, and particularly the Oscars, because they are absolutely terrible for nominating science fiction films. So, I want it there. That's a statement from me. I want The Martian in the awards running. I think it's that good. Because like I say, it's moving, humorous, dramatic, and spectacular, and all to equal effect. And yeah, I don't know what more I can say. The visuals, yes, I'm going to say briefly about the visuals. I don't want it to focus too much on it, because we want to talk about more of the other stuff, which is sometimes more important. But the effects are fabulous again, and this is a film done on a budget of a modest, let's face it, for a big science fiction film like this, on a modest $108 million. And it looks fabulous. The performances are fabulous. The story is great. It's engaging. There we go. I think I've described as much as I can about this film without just being super hyper over in praise. So there we go. The Martian, Ridley Scott, Matt Damon. Yeah. Somebody somewhere is spending a lot of money rescuing Matt Damon, aren't they? In the film industry. Without me mentioning those other films that he's been rescued in. Or attempted to be rescued. So yeah. Superb work by Ridley Scott. Superb science fiction film. The Martian. There we go. Now, my classic film of the week is a film in a completely different genre. And the film is the martial arts film. Well, I say martial arts epic film, Hero, which stars Jet Li as an assassin. Now, what is the premise of this film is that Jet Li is an assassin who has gone to the King of China at the time, who has enemies throughout China, and it appears Jet Li has assassinated 3 of his most fiercest opponents and enemies, and it's been having that sort of recollection with the king, and telling him exactly how he defeated his enemies. You can't really talk about the film without spoiling it. Now, this is the problem. So, what's the best way of doing it? There's lots of flashback sequences on which we obviously see these battles and these fight sequences. And as always with Chinese martial arts, they are just truly fabulous to watch. And there is a poetic ballet in the way they are performed, isn't there? It's less fighting and more dancing is probably the best way. It's grace and dancing in the way they go about it. The enemies of the king who Jet Li engages with are Tony Leung, Maggie Cheung, and Is it Chen Doming? No, it's not Chen Doming. Sorry, Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen. Chen Doming is the king. And there's also a fight sequence involving a assistant of Tony Leung, who is played by Zhang Zi. So some very, very prominent martial arts actors there for you. Once again, like I say, this is a film that is actually only about an hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes, which, considering the sort of genre it's in, this sort of genre can always be incredibly, I won't say bloated, that would sound like it's a bad thing, but they're incredibly long, they're quite heavy on story. This is quite a very simple story, and it's probably why it's one of those sort of films that's made it so big in the Western world. So, yeah, fabulously paced, because it just cuts to the chase regarding the fighting and the fight scenes and the story. And the way it plays out, with people double guessing what each other are doing and things like that, is very, very good. So, yeah. What can I say? The first time I ever watched this film, there was what I noticed most prominently about it was the colours of the film. Once again, that's not an uncommon thing in obviously this genre of film, but it was probably I think it was the first film of this genre for me to witness, and the vibrant nature and colours on show with particular scenes and fighting things, just the pure. Sometimes it's monochrome greys and dark blues, and then it's things like pure red, things like that, and then green as well is very, very prominent. It's fabulous. The cinematography is truly wonderful. The landscape is used to its absolute peak. So fabulous, fabulous cinematography, and the editing goes without saying with this sort of film. It's superb. So yeah, what more can I say? It's probably, is it Jet Li's most famous film? Probably not exactly in a Western audience, but in terms of his overall worldwide filmography, I think Hero probably is. Is it his best film? That's the. See, I've seen Jet Li's Fearless as well, and I really, really enjoyed him in that film. So it's very hard to say is it Jet Li's best film, but like I say, this is truly one, as always, is a film worth watching in this genre. It's probably, it's not my personal favourite, having watched other films since. I won't say which ones are my favourite, because I don't want to compare and contrast, but it's just it's superb work on the cinema. And in my favourite fight scene was the Jet Li and Donnie Yen fight scene very early on in the film, and the humour involved with that fight scene also was very, very good. And it's just great. It's just great. So there we go. Yeah, Hero is my classic film of the week, the 2002 film. But my cinematography, my theatrically released film of the week was The Martian, which I absolutely loved. This is what we've been missing from Ridley Scott for years, and yeah, it's superb. And my final word on The Martian, well, what can I say? Like I say, like I said, I've already said already, think Castaway more than Interstellar, and especially in terms of how the film plays out. And my final word is that all I'll say is that my eyes were leaking some sort of substance known as water. And that tells you all you need to probably know about the film. So there we go. Thank you very much. If you have for watching, and I hope you subscribe to me, and I hope to see and speak to you again. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.